Hello, everyone. Good evening, dear authors and invited guests. Welcome to Technical Session 12D. Myself is Jita Sauryan, and this session would be moderated by me. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation and JS Scholastic LLP, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 10th International Conference on Smart Trends in Computing and Communication, SMARTCOM 2026, Pune, India. The 10th edition of the conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event was held day before yesterday in Pune, and the virtual event is being held through Zoom from 19 till the 21st of January 2026. I hope you will all enjoy the knowledgeable interactive sessions through the day. In this session, we have 10 presentations. Each presenter will be given 10 minutes for the presentation and 2 minutes for question and answer. On 9 minutes, I will raise a gentle reminder. There's another request to all the participants that you all stay connected with us till the closing remarks. If you have any query or update, then you can write it to me in the chat box. Just before we get started, I'd like to introduce you all to our session chair. We have with us Dr. Amol C. Adamute, who is a professor and at the Department of Information Technology at Raja Ram Bapu Institute of Technology, Maharashtra, India. With over 18 years of teaching experience, he has made significant contributions to academic and research. His research interests include tech forecasting, optimization algorithms, soft computing, and cloud computing, and he has published over 40 plus research papers in reputed national and international journals. We welcome you, sir.
Yes, thank you, madam. Thank you for inviting me for this conference as a session chair.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, I'd like to start with the paper presentations. We have with us the first paper presenter, Netravati B, with the paper titled A Deep Learning Framework for Intelligent Identification of Underwater Species and Objects. Ma'am, if you're ready, then you may start with the presentation. So we'll proceed with our next presenter. I'd like to call paper presenter Priyanka Agrawal with the paper titled A Review of Adapted Portfolio Optimization and Machine Learning Techniques for Risk Management and Socially Responsible Investing. Ma'am, if you're ready, then you may start with your presentation.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Yeah. Sure,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to everyone, the respective session chair, and everyone. Let's start with the session. Today, my topic is a review of adaptive portfolio optimization and machine learning techniques for risk management and socially responsible investing. My name is Priyanka Agrawal, and I have my fellow colleagues who have helped me in writing this paper. So I'm starting with my presentation. Now, traditional portfolio optimization models are old methods used by investors to decide how to distribute money across different assets, like stocks and bonds. These models usually assume that the market behaves in a stable, predictable way based on historical data. Volatile markets, however, are unpredictable and can change suddenly due to factors like economic crisis, pandemics, like Lehman Brothers. The problem with old model is that they don't adjust well to such changes. New techniques like machine learning are being developed to help investors manage risk better by learning from large amount of data and adjusting to market changes in real time. In finance, machine learning is used to understand complex patterns that traditional methods might miss. For example, machine learning can look at how various factors like inflation, interest rates affect the stock market and help adjust investment strategies accordingly. Unlike traditional models, which are based on fixed rules, machine learning allows investors to adjust their investments continuously based on the latest market condition, helping to avoid losses during unpredictable events. Third introduction suggest socially responsible investing, SRI, means investing in companies that align with ethical values like protecting the environment, ensuring fair treatment of workers, and maintaining good corporate governance. ESG factors refer to three areas investors focus on when choosing companies to invest. First, environmental, how the company impacts the environment, for example, pollution, resources, etc. Social, how the company treats its worker and its social responsibility, example, labor practices, gig workers. Governance, how ethically the company is managed, example, transparency, fairness, all this. Traditional portfolio models often ignore these factors, focuses only on making the most money. But today, investors want their money to support ethical companies as well. However, it's still challenging to include these ESG factors without losing financial returns, and that's where newer techniques like ML can help. Now, combining machine learning, risk management, and sustainable investing is the powerful solution for investor. Machine learning helps predict market changes and adjust portfolios. Risk management ensures the investment are not risky, overly risky, helping to avoid big losses. Sustainable investing focuses on ensuring that the investment support companies that are good for society and the environment. This paper is basically a literature review based paper. So through literature review, I have gone through various papers, and these are the summary of the literature review that traditional portfolio optimization models rely on fixed assumptions and historical data, but machine learning enhances flexibility by adapting to market changes, improving decision making, and providing real-time portfolio adjustments. Risk management models in machine learning. Machine learning models can detect hidden patterns and adapt dynamically. Sorry. Have I got disconnected? Am I still audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, my third point suggests socially responsible investing SRI and ESG integration. Machine learning allows investors to integrate environmental, social, and governance factors into portfolio decisions, enabling ethical investing while maintaining strong financial performance and addressing increasing demand for sustainable investments. Fourth point, machine learning for market volatility and crisis response. ML models like LSTM, RNN and Excel in predicting market volatility, allowing investors to adjust portfolio dynamically, that is in a real-time market during crisis and volatile periods, thus reducing risk exposure and enhancing decision-making accuracy. Future directions in AI-driven portfolio management. The future of portfolio management involves integrating advanced machine learning methods like big data, explainable AI, that is XAI, alongside hybrid systems that combine human expertise with AI to optimize investment strategies and transparency. Now, while going through the literature review, I have observed certain challenges that has been introduced in various papers. Like this was the one of the papers I have given the reference also, in which author has given a taken a period from July 2006 to July 2011, in which during which the in 2009 we have seen a Lehman Brothers crash. But by the conventional model, this is not tracking very clearly, and this was what the actual result, and this was the expected result. So hence, this is the not the stable model, and it is not capturing the market flexibility correctly. So that was the first of the challenges with conventional model. Like conventional model, if I say conventional model like Markowitz model, or that is a ARIMA model, which is using a linear way of thinking of the market. But market does not work in a linear way. So that is why it should capture such sudden shocks in the market. And so it is not working in such adverse conditions. The second challenge that I have got through the various by going through the various papers, that there itself machine learning has itself some challenges like black box problem. Sometimes machine learning is giving us a result which is not explained without any explanation. So fund managers or any investor does not gain that much of confidence or trust to invest or to take the decision as it is. So that is why there has to be a technique through which the decision should be supported by valid rationality, and hence this was also one of the challenges with machine learning, which I have got through during my going through the literature surveys. These are the research gaps that I have observed when I am going through various literatures. So first research gap was real world applicability of machine learning models. Many machine learning models are tested in controlled environments, but their effectiveness in real world markets where data is noisy and unpredictable remains insufficiently explored, highlighting the need for further research and practical applications. Second research gap, integration of ESG criteria and AI models. While machine learning models have integrated ESG factors, balancing these ethical criteria with financial performance metrics in AI-based remains an underexplored area. And that is what the novelty of this paper, that I have integrated ESG with AI model, requiring further development of hybrid systems. Third point, lack of transparency in machine learning model, that is XAI, that is the decision that the machine learning is taking is not supported with the proper explanation. So machine learning algorithms often act as a black boxes, making it difficult to understand how decisions are made. Explainable AI, XAI, is need to improve transparency and increase trust in AI-driven financial models. There are certain techniques like SHAP and LIME that I can use during XAI to explain the decisions that machine learning is making. Data quality and availability. Machine learning algorithms require large, clean data sets for optimal performance. However, data in financial markets, especially alternative sources like social media, often lacks quality and consistency, creating a significant gap. Adapting machine learning models to handle extreme market events, like I have told you that like extreme market conditions, like pandemic, we have seen that is an extreme market condition in which the market crashed very badly. So machine learning models typically learn from past data, but they struggle to predict extreme market events like financial crisis. There is a need for research into stress testing and improving model adaptability during these rare events. Real-time portfolio rebalancing and dynamic adaptation. That is the very big challenge, that I need to rebalance my portfolio dynamically and in the real-time data. So most research on machine learning focuses on portfolio suggestions, but there is a limited work on fully automated real-time balancing system that require no human intervention to adjust portfolio instantly based on changing market conditions. So this is the research. These are the research gaps that I have identified during my literature review. And based on my research gap, I have formulated my research objective. My first research objective is enhancing portfolio optimization with machine learning. The objective is to explore how machine learning techniques can improve portfolio optimization by adapting to market fluctuations, maximizing return, minimizing risk through dynamic data-driven approaches. My second objective suggests improving risk management using ML algorithms. That this research aims to examine the use of machine learning algorithm for enhanced risk management, focusing on ability of these models to predict and mitigate risk in volatile market environments. My third objective is integrating ESG factors into investment models.
Excuse
The
me,
goal
ma'am.
is to,
I'm really
yes,
sorry to disturb you, but I'd like to remind you of the time limit.
okay, ma'am,
Yeah.
thank you. And my fifth objective is transparent machine learning models using XAI. For research methodology, I have explored various databases of the research, that is Google Scholar, Scopus, IEEE, and Science Direct, and I have used the inclusion and exclusion criteria to filter out my research work. And so these are my inclusion and the exclusion criteria. Also, I have used the Prisma flowchart for my proper filtering and screening of the only the crucial journals I have included in this research work. So this is my Prisma flowchart, and I have given the reference also, and this is how I have included and excluded my research work. This is what my research analysis. This is in the research analysis portion. I have mapped my each objective with the study outcome. So this is my research objective, and this is how I have mapped with my outcome, that machine learning models such as reinforcement learning, deep learning outperform, which are the models that are optimizing for the portfolio. Second, how I can improve risk management using ML algorithm. These are my objective, and what study I have taken from various references I have given from various journals. These are the ML algorithm, especially reinforced learning, are there, which can work better on improving risk management. The third was the ESG factors into investment models. Machine learning models successfully integrated ESG factors into portfolio SRI while achieving strong financial returns. Fourth objective, that addressing market volatility, that I have used LSTM and RNN models that can address the market sudden shocks and volatility. My fifth objective was transparent machine learning XAI, that I have used the Chapman line method for the explainable AI that builds the confidence and trust on the machine learning models. So these are my findings. Machine learning enhances portfolio optimization in volatility. Machine learning algorithms improve real-time risk management. ESG factors integrated into machine learning based investment models. ML models predict market volatility. Explainable AI ensures transparency in financial decision making. And finally, to conclude my presentation, machine learning significantly enhances portfolio optimization. This is my final concluded that yes, machine learning does help in optimizing my portfolio for the investors, and various fund managers can use these machine learning various models by using by counting such volatility, sudden shocks, and financial crisis in the machine learning. And that is how we can use machine learning in an ethical way. And by using ESG factors, I've included the ESG factors also, so that it will be a ethical and environment friendly investment. So this is how I conclude my presentation, sir. And these are some of the references that I've gone through while using this presentation. And this is the final slide. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. Uh, my suggestion here is
Yes, sir.
you have presented a review paper, right?
Yes, sir.
How many papers you have reviewed, madam?
Sir, finally, after filtering out all the papers, I have reviewed almost 50 papers.
50 papers.
Yes, sir.
So I have gone through your objectives and research questions. They are
Right,
too
sir.
broad. So for a
Okay, sir.
conference paper, you need to focus on only one or two research objectives and questions. And
Okay, sir.
in line with these two research problems and questions, you need to find out what are the different variations in the problem definitions.
Okay, sir.
What are the different factors considered while solving the problem, and
Okay, sir.
the different methods applied and variations in the methods.
Okay, sir.
Right now, the objectives and the problem statement with questions are too broad. You need to narrow down, and
Okay, sir.
literature you must give a trend for future research work. So, what is done in the past, the research gap must be very specific in line with your reviewed papers. We cannot make generalized statements.
Okay,
And,
sir.
and a literature you must give, your review paper must give research directions. So these few points are missing. So you
Thank you, sir.
incorporate all
Thank you.
these points in your further research.
Thank you so much, sir.
If any questions from audience, they can ask.
Thank you for your valuable input, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Any questions from the audience? If no question, then we'll continue to
Yeah,
next
sir.
presentation, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We'll be proceeding ahead with the next paper presenter. I'd like to call upon Venkata Naga with the paper titled AI-Driven Fire Foresight and Human-Centric Safety Grid for Smart Communities. Ma'am, if you're ready, then you may start with your presentation.
Yes, I'll share the PPT. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Yeah. So good afternoon, respected chairmans and delegates and fellow researchers. I am Manjusha. Today I'll be presenting a work titled AI-Driven Fire Foresight and Human-Centric Safety Grid for Smart Communities. This research focuses on the moving fire safety systems from the reactive detection to the predictive foresight using a combination of the IoT sensing and the hybrid deep learning models with a strong emphasis on the human safety and the smart community environments. With rapid urbanization and growth of the smart communities, the demand for the reliable and proactive fire safety solutions has significantly increased. Modern residential and public infrastructures require systems that can identify fire risk before the hazardous conditions escalate. To begin with this, the motivation for this work comes from the growing demand for the proactive fire safety in rapidly urbanizing smart communities. With the expansion of the modern residential and public infrastructures, there is a clear need for the early warning system that can act before the hazardous conditions escalate. However, the traditional fire systems are largely reactive. They typically trigger alarms only after the rise of the smoke or visible flames, which significantly limits the time available for the preventive action. As a result, the certain early stage environmental indicators often remain undetected. Based on these limitations, our research problem is to design a cost-effective, intelligent, and real-time fire foresight system capable of identifying the early stage indicators and delivering timely alerts to enhance the human-centric safety in smart communities. The core problem addressed in this research is the lack of the cost-effective, intelligent, and real-time fire foresight system. Existing systems fail to analyze the continuous multivariate sensor data and cannot risk before ignition. Therefore, our objective is to design a system capable of identifying the abnormal environmental patterns at an early stage and delivering timely alerts to improve safety and reduce response delays. To address this, we proposed our solution that fuses the multi-sensor IoT data with an hybrid deep learning model combining the CNN, BioLSTM, and attention mechanism to predict fire risk early at an stage. The objectives of our work are focused on early prediction, like we always aim to predict the fire hazard at an early stage by continuously monitoring the environmental parameters using the IoT sensors and identifying the abnormal patterns before ignition occurs. Second, we implement the intelligent fire risk classification mechanism using the hybrid model, which classifies the risk levels into meaningful categories to support the proactive decision making. Third, the system is designed to enable the real-time community awareness by delivering the timely alerts and risk notifications, allowing user to respond quickly to potential hazards. Finally, we provide accessible monitoring and control through an intuitive real-time dashboard that visualizes the fire risk levels and overall system status, supporting the human-centric safety management. Now, I'll briefly summarize the key foundations from prior research that motivated for our work. Several studies have shown the effectiveness of machine learning and deep learning in fire detection and also demonstrated that attention based models are significantly better at capturing the complex spatio-temporal fire patterns compared to the traditional threshold based alarm systems. And the classical machine learning approaches, models like CAT Boost discussed by Joe, improve prediction accuracy but limited capability in modeling continuous time series dependencies, and also other works including in applied machine learning for the fire risk classification interpretability, but these heavily rely on the engineered features and show reduced performance on complex multi-sensor data. Based on this review, we identify a clear research gap existing systems that remain largely reactive and struggle to model the subtle spatial temporal environmental changes required for an early prediction. Our work addresses this gap by proposing an AI driven ESP32 based multi sensor fire foresight system using the hybrid model. So, this slide illustrates the overall methodology and system architecture. The system begins with an ESP32 based IoT sensing unit that continuously collects the environmental data from the temperature, humidity, and gas sensor and IR sensor. These sensors capable of subtle variations that may indicate the early stage fire risk. The collected multi sensor data is then processed and analyzed using a hybrid model deployed at the intelligent layer. This model combines the CNN for feature extraction, bidirectional LSTM for learning temporal dependencies, and a attention mechanism that focuses on the most critical time segments related to fire risk. Based on the model's predictions, the system classifies the environment into the normal, caution, or critical risk levels. When abnormal conditions detected, real-time alerts are generated and delivered through the remote notifications and a web dashboard. In terms of data characteristics, the model is trained using the multivariate time series data collected from the system combined with the public file instance such as NFIRS and FEMA with an best split. To arrive at the final architecture, we followed the phased model selection approach, starting with the baseline machine learning models, then LSTM and BioLSTM networks, and finally selecting the CNN BioLSTM attention hybrid model for an effective fire risk prediction. We use multiple sensors, including the temperature, gas, and gas sensors, to continuously monitor the fire related conditions inside the indoor environments. All the sensor data are collected and managed by the ESP32 microcontroller, which acts as the central control unit. The ESP32 performs the basic processing and is also responsible for triggering on device alerts such as buzzer, LED when abnormal conditions detected. This sensor data are then transmitted wirelessly to the backend system for the advanced analysis and real-time visualization. Overall, this architecture enables the continuous monitoring, early warning, and the reliable indoor fire safety operation. Before training the model, we carefully pre-process and prepare the sensor data to ensure the reliable learning. First, continuous readings are collected from the temperature, humidity, gas, and IR sensors, and each record is time-stamped to preserve the temporal relationships. Next, we perform the data cleaning by removing the missing values, filtering noise caused by the sensor fluctuations, and eliminating the outliers. The clean data then normalized using the min-max scaling, ensuring the uniform feature ranges that improving training stability and model conversions. To capture the temporal trends and normalize data segmented into the fixed length time sequences, which are used as the inputs to the CNN bias stream attention model. Finally, the prepared dataset is divided for the training and testing for effective evaluation. So this slide explains the hybrid deep learning model architecture we used for the fire risk prediction. Our model follows a CNN bias system with an attention architecture designed to capture both spatial and temporal dependencies and multi-sensor environmental data. The CNN layers extract the meaningful patterns from the multivariate sensor inputs. The bidirectional LSTM layers learn the temporal behavior from both past and future trends, which is essential for the understanding gradual fire escalation. The retention mechanism emphasizes the most critical time segments to contributing to the fire risk prediction. Finally, a layer classifies the environment into the normal, caution, and critical risk levels. The model is trained using the ADAM optimizer and evaluated using metrics like accuracy, precision, recall, and defense score. So I'll be presenting the results and analysis of our AI-driven fire foresight system. System was evaluated through a combination of model training and real-world indoor experiments focusing on the prediction accuracy, response latency, and alert delivery time and visualization effectiveness. The hybrid CNN bias team attention model achieved 94% of training accuracy and 93.2 validation accuracy, demonstrating the stable learning and strong generalization. The low risk category showed the high precision and recall. The medium category showed a moderate overlap. Importantly, the high risk category achieved the strong precision recall, enabling the detection of the critical fire risks. Overall, these results confirm the effectiveness of the proposed model. In addition to the strong model performance, the system demonstrates the effective real-time monitoring and alert response. We developed a web-based dashboard providing the near real-time visualization of the sensor data using the color-coded risk indicators. Early fire conditions were detected before critical escalations. Local alerts were triggered within zero point 0.8 seconds and remote notification were delivered within 2.7 seconds. These results confirm the timely, reliable warnings in the real-world indoor environments. To conclude, our work demonstrated that a hybrid CNN bialstium attention model can effectively capture the spatio-temporal patterns from the multi-sensor environmental data, enabling the early fire risk prediction beyond traditional reactive systems. Continuous multi-sensor monitoring and proper pre-processing play a critical role in identifying the subtle environmental changes preceding fire instance. From an operational perspective, the system enhances smart community fire safety through real-time dashboards and timely alerts. As future work, we plan to optimize the model for edge deployment, integrate the additional sensors, and scale the system for smart city infrastructure, contributing to a scalable, intelligent fire safety ecosystem. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Can you explain whether you are using time series data set or you are using other data set?
Yes, sir. We actually first collected the data and then we make it the
How?
time series data so that it can be useful for the CNN.
Okay. In your time series data set, how many records are there?
So there were around 11,000 entries, sir.
11,000. So as the
Yes.
data is time series data, why you are using CNN algorithm? LSTM is sufficient.
Yes, sir, but we chose CNN for the meaningful extractions. Like sometimes there are multiple entries which may escalate the fire risk prediction, so we use that.
Can you go to your methodology slide? Which sensors you have
Yes, sir.
used? So your objective is to early fire detection, right?
Yes,
This is
sir.
early fire detection. So temperature, humidity, gas, and IR sensor. So these are the sensor values. Why you need CNN is not clear to me.
So why we actually used is, as you said, the time series in nature, the data set, but we deliberately used the CNN layers for meaningful feature extraction, like before the
Which,
temporal modeling.
which meaningful,
Because
which feature extraction, which meaningful feature extraction?
like what we actually thought is when we are taking multiple sensor values, like multiple correlated readings may occur within like short interval. So individually these may appear insignificant, but the combined patterns may have indicate the best risk.
You're talking
And it
something,
also not only
madam,
helps
you're
but
talking
also
something abstract. My question is, there are only four types of sensors are used. So see your data
yes,
set characteristics. There are only four features. And when
yes, sir.
you are working with only four features, you are using a CNN algorithm. My question is why CNN? Which features you want to extract? Because there are only four features.
Yes, sir, as you said that, but what we actually thought is, uh, as
What
I
you have
said,
done. So what features you have extracted through CNN? Can you explain?
yes, sir. Actually, what we did is, as like our data set.
You are not audible. You are not audible. So my suggestion is the data is very less. Only four attributes, four features you are considering, and you are proposing CNN again by LSTM, and then attention. So for very small data and simple data, you are proposing something too complex system. So you check why you need such a complex system for a simple time series data. Thank you. If there is no question from audience, then we can go to next presentation, madam.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We'll be proceeding ahead with our next paper presentation. I'd like to call upon paper presenter Jasleen Rihan with the paper.
Hello, I'm so sorry. Hello. There was some network issue. Can I continue?
Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
Yeah, okay. Just a second.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, sir is asking me question. I was answering. In between, I got disconnected. Is that fine?
Yeah, ma'am. It's fine.
Is it completed now?
Yes, ma'am. It is
Can we?
completed. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I hope my screen is visible to everybody.
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. Fine. So, good afternoon to everyone here. I'm Ms. Jasleen Rihan from Ramdev Baba University, Nagpur, and today I'll be presenting my paper titled Digital Storytelling and Narrative Construction in the Age of Artificial Intelligence. This paper explores how AI is reshaping storytelling, authorship, and reader engagement, and how these changes are challenging the traditional ideas of creativity and narrative meaning. It's how artificial intelligence is not merely a technology anymore or a technological tool, but is increasingly becoming a co creator. So, to begin with, storytelling has always evolved alongside technology. If we talk about how it has evolved, it was started off with oral traditions to the print media to the digital content.
Madam, kindly
Although,
start your in a presentation mode. It is not in presentation mode.
well, I've started in that.
Ma'am, could you put your PPT in slideshow mode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take you through my paper here, where first I'll be talking about the background and the context of the study. So storytelling has always evolved alongside technology, from oral traditions to print media, and then to the digital content, and now that we are living in, which is the AI-generated narratives. Each phase has transformed how stories have been created, shared, or interpreted. And what makes AI different is that it is no longer just a medium of distribution, but it actively participates in the creative process. So AI today is generating plots, simulating characters, and adapting narratives dynamically, thus making it a co-author rather than just a passive tool. So if I have to show you the difference between all these medias and the evolution here, so the era, the medium was speech, where the narrative features largely were collective memory, performance based, and the role of technology was none here. With the advent of printing press and the era of print here, which was in the form of books, we had a narrative structure which was pretty linear, and the authorship was also fixed. Then came in the digital era where it all became about hypertext and multimedia with interactive and hypertextual narrative features. And the technology largely used was computers and internet. And with AI, we now enter a phase of algorithmic storytelling where narratives are generated through machine learning and NLP. This shift challenges our conventional understanding of what a story is, who writes it, and how meaning is created. So each technological shift has redefined or redefines the narrative form, authorship, and reader engagement. So AI is not just a medium anymore, it is now a co-creator, which brings me to my statement here that while AI can produce stories, its narrative meaning and emotional authenticity still remains unclear. So it is able to generate plots, simulate characters, and adapt narratives in real time. While all these capabilities are impressive, but they still raise deeper questions, critical questions like who is the author? And can AI be considered to be the author? What is creativity and can a machine be creative? And can machines evoke emotional depth? Um, which brings me to the research gap that most existing studies or research has always focused on the technical efficiency, but humans have outsourced AI generated stories. So this is the central problem of my study. Most existing studies are from computer science and engineering perspectives, and they focus on how well AI performs. But I believe storytelling is not only about performance, it is also about meaning, emotion, and cultural interpretation. So there's this clear gap in humanities-based empirical studies that examines reader responses using narrative theory. So in the existing studies, we already have a lot of focus on the technical aspect, algorithm efficiency, and performance metrics. Whereas from the humanities perspective or the other perspective that still is under researched is the reader perception, narrative meaning, and ethical or cultural analysis. So my research attempts to bridge this gap. The objective of the study, there are three main objectives. Number one, to examine how AI influences the narrative constructions in digital storytelling. Number two, to analyze the change in authorship and creativity in AI generated stories. And number three, to assess the perception of readers of these AI generated stories. For these objectives, if I have to talk about the significance of the study, the research is pretty significant for multiple disciplines. So, in terms of digital humanities, it expands the debates on authorship and creativity with respect to communication studies. It helps explore new forms of storytelling, and in ICT and ethics, it is able to address concerns of originality, ownership, and biasness. I have used theoretically the study extends narrative theory into the AI age. So I have drawn my conclusions, or the entire analysis is done based on classical and digital narrative study. The first one is the narrative study. The first one is the narrative structure by Gerard Jennett, where he suggests that this entire study or theory focuses on time, order, voice, and perspective in storytelling. This theory explains how stories are organized, how events are sequenced, is the story, and from what perspective. The second, so this theory is going to help in narratives. They follow the traditional storytelling patterns, such as the clear beginning, a proper, well-described middle, and then the end. The second one that we have used here, the theory that I've considered, is the plural meanings by Roland Barthes. This theory suggests that meaning is not fixed by the author. Instead, it is created by the readers. So a story can be interpreted in different ways depending on an individual's perception, cultural, and personal context. So this theory is important in the research with the perspective that it examines whether AI generated stories, they do allow any kind of a meaningful engagement or not. The third theory that I've used is the author function by Michel Foucault. This is authorship is a social and cultural role and not just a person. So this theory challenges the very idea of a single creative genius that we talk about. So this is particularly relevant because AI introduces distributed authorship involving humans and machines and data sets. So instead, here in this theory, it's said that the author here says that authorship is shaped by institutions, culture, and discourse. So it helps us explain how authorship becomes distributed. The next theory that I have used here is the participatory narratives by Janet Murray. Now, here the theory suggests that readers become active participants in story construction, and the theory argues that digital narratives are not fixed or linear like we have it in the print traditional stories. Rather, they allow users to interact, make choices, and influence how the story is going to unfold. So, in this context, in the context of our study, it helps explain how AI shifts storytelling from a one-way process to an interactive experience. The next theory is the hypertext and reader agency by George Landau. This theory explains that digital texts, especially hypertext, are all nonlinear. Readers choose their own paths through the story instead of following a fixed sequence. Now, why have this theory been considered is AI-generated narratives adapt to user prompts and preferences, creating multiple possible versions of the same story, aligning with the idea that readers help construct meaning. And the last theory that I've used is creativity as recombination by Margaret Boudin. This explains that creativity does not always mean inventing something completely new. This often involves combining what we already have as the existing idea in a new and unexpected and variable ways. So this is important here because AI creates stories by learning patterns from existing texts and recombining them. This fits Bourdain's definition of creativity, but it also reveals its limitation of lacking any kind of emotional understanding. So based on these theories that have been considered here, uh, I propose this AI author reader interaction model, is what I've proposed in the research as well. Here, storytelling, it suggests that storytelling is not controlled by a single author. Instead, it is distributed among three agents. So here, the first, it conceptualizes storytelling as a dynamic process, and the three agents are number one, language and structure. Then we have got the human author, who's actually the curator, somebody who guides it, who edits it, who refines it, and is giving the actual guiding prompts and refining the output. And finally, we have the reader, who's the interactive participant here, who is actually interpreting the meaning actively and evaluating the narrative as well. So this
Excuse
model
me,
shows that
ma'am.
AI does not.
I'm
Yes.
really sorry to disturb you, but I'd like to remind you of the time limit.
Yeah, okay. I'm just towards the end. So the methodology that is followed here is that I have used the mixed methodology here, where first I had created stories of different genres using the AI. Then this was qualitatively analyzed. So the analysis was done based on what is the plot, structure, character, theme, and voice. Then the quantitative analysis included a survey where 120 participants responded to their analysis of these stories, and based on the frequency and percentage, an integrated interpretation was achieved. So qualitative method focused on narrative elements such as plot structure, character development, coherence, and voice, whereas the quantitative method focused on readers' perception related to engagement, emotional impact, creativity, and authenticity. So a combination of these two methods helped enhance reliability and validity. This is the sample interpretation where respondents' familiarity with AI generated content is shown through this pie chart here. The key findings here are number one. One of the strongest finding was that the AI performs very well in terms of structure. So AI scored high scores on plot coherence, logical sequencing, and narrative clarity. Uh, Readers found that these stories are very coherent, logically organized, and this suggests that narrative structure with classical narratology describes a rule based can be effectively reproduced by algorithms. So this has been the strength. However, there has been an area that needs to be looked upon, which is the emotional and creative dimensions, where readers' perception comes into play. When it comes to emotional depth and originality and psychological complexity, AI-generated stories scored significantly lower here. Readers clearly preferred human-written stories for emotional engagement. This tells us something important, that storytelling is not just about structure, but it is about lived experiences, emotions, and meaning. So this is indicates a gap between formal correctness and emotional resonance. And this is the score here. So if you see, emotional engagement means pretty low as compared to the narrative structure and social acceptance. The graph suggests the same. The next one, one of the most interesting findings relates to authorship here. Readers viewed authorship as shared between humans and machines. However, they strongly believe that human involvement is essential here. Ethical concerns such as originality, ownership, bias, and accountability were also prominently visible through the responses here. And this is a clear the comparison between human authored narratives and AI generated. For human author, the plot structure is pretty flexible and it's all based on experiences, whereas AI generated is absolutely rule based, but yet very coherent with its the data, the information. Emotional depth is pretty high with human authored. With AI, it's limited. Creativity is intentional and again based on lived experiences, whereas for AI generated, it is algorithmic. Authorship is singular. Here we are distributing the authorship as well for AI generated, and ethical, clear, and ambiguous here. So why this study matters? Because it confirms structure can be automated, emotional meaning cannot. Several implications. AI can organize stories, but it cannot authentically feel or replicate them. With respect to digital humanities, it expands the concept of authorship and conceptualizes it as a distributed collaborative process. For creative writing, which is it positions AI as a creative assistant rather than the only thing that is actually creating it. That enhances human imagination rather than actually replacing it. And finally, ethics, a need for transparent AI frameworks, and highlights the need for transparency, accountability, and bias awareness. I'm towards the end of my presentation here, where I'm talking about the limitations for this study. This was a limited demographic diversity here, short narratives only. I have created only shorter narratives here. And with respect to this, the future scope would be that to future research can explore areas of like cross-cultural studies, longer narratives, and interactive storytelling, and immersive technologies like VR and gaming. So to conclude, AI-generated stories are structurally strong and linguistically fluent. AI functions as a catalyst that reshapes how stories are generated and structured. However, they lack emotional depth that human storytelling offers. Rather than replacing human, AI reshapes storytelling into a collaborative process. So AI operates at the intersection of narrative tradition and technological innovation. So to end it, AI reshapes storytelling, but does not replace human imagination. So rather than replacing human, it is going to reshape and thus become a collaborative process. This confirms the idea that creativity is not just algorithmic, it is deeply human, and hence creativity can definitely become collaborative. So these are my references for the paper here. Yes. So thank you for your time and attention. I look forward to the questions.
Hello. Madam,
Hello.
please go back to your objective slide.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
submit
sir.
karani baki hai sumar. Madam, the objective is to examine how AI influences narrative construction lead to storytelling. How you achieve this objective? What is your proposed methodology is not clear to me.
Sir, I had created a few short stories, kind of stuff from different genres that were used to examine. And then first, it was at the qualitative level and quantitative level. So then later on, when it was floated as a Google form based survey, responded to it as to how digital stories are being
Madam,
interpreted
can
by
you
them.
show the questionnaires and its statistical analysis?
Sir, I don't have it in my laptop at present.
No, madam.
I'm
Then, when we are saying this is a research paper and this
right.
is a questionnaire based feedback analysis, then statistical analysis must be there. We cannot say that this is only a kind of a qualitative analysis. We have asked feedback and the feedbacks are positive.
Okay.
So, a systematic research methodology is not followed. So, there is need to do. The topic is good, so there is scope
Yeah.
to do analysis and present not only one, but
Um,
there is scope to do multiple research
I
papers.
have.
So the problem is identified correctly, but
Hmm.
the further research steps are not applied.
But I do have the survey responses that way, so I can be sharing it to the conference that way. Like your email, I can share those as well.
After the questionnaires need to be validated, first thing. Second
Okay.
task is after validation, you need to use some statistical analysis tools to
So that
further.
I've used.
uh,
I've used tools. I've used the basic idea to analyze the data. That's there in my paper as well. So I've used the basic idea, statistical tool of mean, frequency, and mode, and all of that. So
no, no,
based on
madam.
that,
So
this
mean
analysis.
frequency is not sufficient. So you need
Okay.
to understand some other data analysis tools, maybe
Okay.
statistics, and even there is scope. You can use any even machine learning algorithm for the analysis if the data
Okay.
is
Okay.
sufficient. So
Fine.
there is scope,
Thanks, sir.
but right now in this research paper, the analysis part is missing.
Okay.
Yes, thank
Thank
you,
you,
madam.
sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll be proceeding with our next paper presenter. I'd like to call upon paper presenter Amit Kalata with the paper titled Explainable Contextual Bandits for Movie Recommendation, an Empirical Study on Movie Lens. So if you're ready, then you may start your presentation. Sir Amit?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm
Uh,
Madhushri Bhattacharjee, a co-author of this paper, and I'll be
okay.
presenting on behalf of Amit Palita with prior approval from the SMARTCOM organizing team.
Sure, ma'am, no issues. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Uh, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay. So most of us have used platforms like Netflix or Amazon Prime, right? Sometimes the recommendations that we find are excellent and up to our expectations. And sometimes we wonder why a particular movie was recommended to us. This lack of transparency highlights key challenges in traditional movie recommendation systems, such as sequential feedback, dynamic user preferences, and the exploration exploitation dilemma, and also lack of interpretability in the traditional recommendation systems. We address these challenges by modeling movie recommendation as a contextual bandit problem. Contextual bandits learn from sequential interactions, use contextual information already present from past experiences, and receive immediate feedback, making them suitable for real time recommendations. The algorithms that we have used here are Lin UCB, Thompson sampling, and a random baseline for comparison purpose. Our primary focus is Lin UCB due to its balance of performance and interpretability. The dataset used is the Movie Lens 100K dataset, which contains 100,000 ratings from 943 users across 1,682 movies belonging to 19 genres with time-stamped interactions, which adds to our ease of experiments. Next, the problem formulation. Each recommendation is treated as a single decision step in this framework. The context includes user preferences, such as which user prefers to watch maybe a sci-fi movie or which user prefers to watch a rom-com or maybe a drama or a action thriller, and also movie features. For example, a particular movie qualifies 30% for a thriller or maybe 20% for a rom-com, that way. And the action in this framework is selecting a movie. The reward in this framework is binary, zero for no not selecting that particular movie or no interaction with that, and one for basic interaction from the user. Next, we come to the methodology. We construct context vectors by concatenating user genre preferences with movie genre indicators. We assume a linear reward model which enables efficient learning and interpretability. Coming to the Lin UCB algorithm, Lin UCB selects recommendations using an upper confidence bound that combines expected reward and cause uncertainty. After observing feedback, it updates its parameters to improve or enhance the future decisions. Now here we can see the left box contains the exploitation term of the UCB. This term focuses on exploitation, which is recommending what seems to be the best recommendation at that particular time, depending on that particular user. And the right box here, it contains the exploration bonus, which means it measures uncertainty. That is how much risk the model is willing to take at that point of time to make new recommendations for new movies or new genres. The evaluation metrics. We have used basically four evaluation matrices here. First is the cumulative reward, which is the total number of correct or successful recommendations over all time steps. Next, we have the click-through rate, the CTR, which is the percentage of recommendations that were successful or relevant to the users or a particular user we are working on. Next, we have the precision at one, which is the accuracy of top recommendation. That is how often the number one ranked recommendation. We have seen mostly in those online Netflix or Amazon Prime, we have the top recommendations for us or any other user. The how often is that top recommendation is ranked correct. Next, we have the cumulative regret, which is how much worse our algorithm performs compared to a perfect oracle or a perfect delusion that always knows the best action. Now, with all these matrices on performing the experiments, we come to a particular result, and the result is that we find that LinUCB outperforms all the baselines. Here we can see that LinUCB with a hyperparameter of with a tuning parameter of around 0.5 has a cumulative reward of 2,150, whereas Thompson sampling has a cumulative reward of 2,000 and random baseline even worse, around 800. Same goes with the click-through rate. LinUCB has a click-through rate of 43%, Thompson sampling has around 40%, and random baseline models have 16%. Same at precision at 1, LinUCB outperforms all the other basic models. Here we can see this graph on a timestamp of 5,000. We have this orange line representing LinUCB, which has a cumulative reward of which has the highest cumulative reward, followed by Thompson sampling, and the least is the random policy. So the main finding from this is that contextual bandits, it achieves 169% improvement over random recommendations when it comes to cumulative rewards. Next, we come to the sensitivity analysis, which is the exploration parameter alpha. Now we see that when we vary alpha within a range of 0.1 to 2, we find that the cumulative reward is not differing by a huge difference. It is around from 1500 to maybe it comes up at 0.5, which is taken as the optimal balance. It is neither over exploiting nor over exploring at 0.5. So we can see that the LinUCB on variation of alpha, the LinUCB results are not varying to a great extent, which proves that LinUCB is very stable and practical even with varying tuning parameters or approximation of the tuning parameters. Even in the graph, we see the same thing. The cumulative reward on varying the value of alpha is almost same. Next, we come to non-stationary time decayed learning. Here we are adding an extra hyperparameter lambda, and we evaluate a time decayed variant of LinUCB and observe limited benefits in sparse and relatively stable environments. Like for stationary settings, standard LinUCB performs better, but in non-stationary settings, the marginal improvements are the marginal improvements from decay is very less because movie lens, the data set that we have used, that is movie lens, is very preferably stable compared to what we wanted to see as a difference. So the conclusion comes that time decay offers limited benefits, and standard LinUCB that we had used earlier is performing better and is sufficient for moderate dynamics. Same with the graph, the drift here. We can see this is the drifting point, and the blue line stands for the standard UCB. The standard UCB is performing better in terms of cumulative rewards as compared to the time decayed LinUCB. Next, we come to the explainability framework. Now, one of the key contributions of of our work is feature level explainability. The linear structure of LinUCB allows us to decompose recommendations into understandable feature contributions. Now, because LinUCB uses a linear model, we can decompose each recommendation into transparent feature level contributions. We can use a concrete example. Like, for example, if we use the movie The Matrix, now, why was the metrics particularly recommended? If we ask a basic platform such as Netflix or Amazon Prime, they might not be able to answer. But the framework that we have proposed, there is a clear breakdown of why this particular movie was recommended to that particular user only. See, we can see here that we can break it down as sci-fi. The genre sci-fi contributed positive of 0.35. It might be because the user loves sci-fi movies. Next, we have action, which contributes positively 0.22. Maybe the user is interested in action movies as well. Here we can see that romance is contributing minus 0.08. The reason might be that the movie, that The Matrix, is lacking romantic elements, which might not be favorable for this recommendation. Again, when it comes to thriller, this Matrix, the movie The Matrix, has a positive contribution of 0.18. The genre thriller has a positive contribution of 0.18, which comes to a total score of 0.67. So now, even the user and the backend team, the technical team sitting behind, knows why this particular movie was recommended to that particular user. So why the impact of this breakdown is that it builds a user trust, and it enables easy debugging for the technical team as well, and provides actionable insights without sacrificing the performance or limiting the performance of the recommender system. Now, coming to this figure, it visualizes the explainability of a single linear UCB recommendation. Here, each bar represents a feature contribution to the final score. Now, green bars are obviously positive, and they push positively towards recommending the movie, while red bars are negative and they depreciate the chances of that movie being recommended. So the dominant factor here is that the movie is sci-fi, contributing 0.25, which is our strongest positive signal here. However, the user prefers comedy, which this movie isn't satisfying, creating a penalty of 0.10. Now, we also see smaller contributions from drama elements and various other user preferences. Now, the main point about Lean UCB is that we get this complete transparency for every recommendation, enabling users to understand our reasoning and allowing the technical team also to debug and optimize the system. And all this without any performance penalty. Now, coming to the key contributions, the first key contribution of this framework is the performance. Now, this framework
Excuse me,
has
ma'am.
demonstrated.
I'm
Yes,
really sorry
yes,
to disturb you, but I'd like to remind you of the time limit.
yes, ma'am, I'll take 2 more minutes. So the main key contribution is the effectiveness or the performance for sequential movie recommendation. Next, we have robustness. Now, the choices might change over time. The user preferences might change over time. Now, and also the hyperparameter, where the exploration and exploitation tendencies might change. So this framework provides a robustness as well for this. Next comes the adaptability. Now, all the present movie recommendation systems work under stationary conditions, but the highlight of this framework is that we have experimented under non-stationary conditions as well. And the interpretability, as I have said, while recommending a movie, Netflix cannot explain why this particular movie was recommended to that particular user. But this framework, it introduces a feature level decomposition and explainability for transparent recommendation. So according to my knowledge, this is one of the first comprehensive study integrating performance, robustness, and interpretability, all three for contextual bandits in the recommendation system. So in conclusion, I can say that the after co- after the whole experiment, we found that Lean UCB and Thompson sampling significantly outperform random baselines, among which Lean UCB outperforms Thompson sampling as well, and Lean UCB achieves automatic balance between exploration and exploitation with a optimal range of the alpha around 0.5. The algorithm is also robust to hyperparameter variations. When varying the value of alpha from 0.1 to 2, we found out the variation is approximately 12%, which is quite okay. Now, time decay provides limited benefits, and we find that standard linear UCB performs better than the time decayed linear UCB. And the linear structure of this framework, it enables transparent and feature level explanations, which is lacking in the previous models. So the contextual bandits are very uh, are are very new to this system, as they are very compatible for real time adaptation, and interpretability and scalability is also to a great extent. So thank you so much.
Uh, Thank you for the presentation, madam. So can you elaborate your data set? What is the data set size and what are the features you are using?
So our data set that we have used is the Movie Lens 100K data set, which contains approximately 943 users. Approximately 1,000 users have rated. Uh, we have ratings of around 100,000 ratings we have in this data set, and the movies that in this data we have around 1600 to 1700 movies which belong to 19 genre, and
Okay, and how many attributes you have considered for one user, the ratings?
pardon sir.
How many attributes you have considered for one user?
So the attributes, I mean to say that we are considering the basic like the genre, the user preferences on the whatever the user have maybe preferred or rated in his or her previous history. So that
Okay.
all those attributes are considered, sir.
The algorithm lean UCB is proposed by you or it is already available in literature?
Sir, the Lean UCB is already the theoretical concept of Lean UCB is already available in the contextual banded literature.
Okay.
So Lean UCB is a well mentioned algorithm.
Okay. So I'm not. This point is not clear to me. How the timestamp formula that you have used, you have applied. So t and t minus one, because the data is not time series data, na?
So the data is timestamped data.
Timestamp data.
Yes, sir. So the data set, the speciality of this movie lens data set is that all the ratings, the ratings are timestamped.
In one of your graph, you have shown the timestamp versus you have shown something. Can you go to the slide? Timestamp
Yes, sir.
versus
So is
times
this?
time step versus cumulative reward, and here the accuracy is 169% improvement is there. So what is the
So
reason behind this kind of exponential increase in the accuracy as compared to the previous one?
So
So
here we can see that we have taken a timestamp starting from 0 to 5,000, and while going from 0 to 5,000, we have seen that as we increase the number of we can say we have increased the number of what we might call it epoch or something like that. As we increase the number of times the ratings have we are taking ratings, we can see that the improvement is increasing very fast along with the along with the timestamps. As the
so
time step is
so these
goes on.
results are on the actual data or you have extrapolated the results?
No, sir, we have worked on the
Okay.
actual data.
Okay. No issue. Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We'll be proceeding on with our next paper presenter. I'd like
Thank
to
you so
call
much.
upon our next paper presenter. We have, just a second, Manvit S. Rao with the paper titled Forest Fire Detection Using Geospatial Machine Learning, a case study of Nainital. Sir, if you're ready, then you may start your presentation.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yeah, sir, you're audible.
Let me just share my screen.
Sure.
Is my screen visible?
Just a second, sir. Yeah, sir, it is visible now.
Okay. So, very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Manvitas Rao, and as a first author, I shall be presenting our work on forest fire detection using geospatial machine learning, a case study of Nainital. So, we have built a complete geospatial machine learning model to detect and map the burn scars from the April 2021 Nainital district forest fires in Uttarakhand. So this project involves the complete data science workflow from raw satellite data processing to training a predictive model. So a quick introduction. Um, uh, Forest fires are not just local headlines. They are a global crisis. Every year they destroy vast ecosystems, release large amounts of carbon dioxide to our atmosphere, and also pose a direct threat to lives and property. So traditional methods of detecting these forest fires are often reactive and slow. So for example, watchtowers or ground patrolling. Now the problem statement arises how we can automatically and accurately detect these forest fires using freely available satellite data. The answer is a burn scar map. A burn scar map is just a map with pixel values zeros and ones, where zeros indicate unburnt area, while one indicates the burnt pixels. And this map can help the forest department, forest officials in understanding the damage caused by the forest. Also help in resource and recovery planning, and also can help understand how the fire is spread across the district. So coming to the study area is mainly focused on the April 2021 forest fire that occurred in Nainital district in Uttarakhand. So Nainital is a region located in the Kumaon districts of Uttarakhand, which is very prone to forest fires due to being heavily forested by a pine tree that grows there, which are highly flammable or they easily catch fire. So the idea is to perform a before and after analysis. So the before is nothing but the pre-fire or the pre-disaster image is taken on 20th March 2021, capturing the good condition or the good health of the forest. And the post-fire or the post-disaster image is taken on 10th April 2021, capturing the burn scars soon after the fire and minimizing the vegetation growth again. Coming to the data sources for satellite imagery, we will be using USGS Landsat 8 program. So Landsat is a series of satellites launched by USGS and NASA. USGS stands for United States Geological Survey. Despite the name United States, they provide the satellite images of all over the Earth. So these satellites orbit the Earth and take pictures of the surface in many different light bands. So these specialized bands can be used to detect heat. So each band serves a different purpose, like detect heat, active fire hotspots, and vegetation index. So when you stack all these bands together, you get the entire satellite image. For our study specifically, we'll be using the band 4, the red light band, the band 5 near infrared, and band 7, the QA pixel band. So these 4 bands were specifically used for in our study. And for the other data sources include SRTM DEM for the topographical features. SRTM stands for Shuttle Radar Topographic Mission. It was again a mission, a NASA mission that mapped the world's elevation. And DEM stands for Digital Elevation Model. It's just a map where it's just a black and white map where each pixel represents its height, and where white means high elevation pixels like mountains and black means low elevation valleys. We also use Diva GIS. It's a platform that provides the boundary shapefile. We acquired the Nainital district shapefile from here, as you can see here. And also we went for the ESA world cover map for removing the false positives and keeping our focus on the study focused only on forest fires. So coming to the methodology, the entire work is split into 4 pipelines or 4 different phases. And the first phase is nothing but the data acquisition and pre-processing, where once we acquire all the data images from these different sources, we'll be performing image clipping and cloud masking. The phase 2 is nothing but the feature engineering, that is the inputs which machine learning model makes predictions on. So firstly, we will be calculating spectral indices like NDVI, NBR, and DNBR. We'll see in depth in the upcoming slides. For now, it's just an overview, the complete flowchart. And after we calculate the spectral indices, we also calculate the topographical indices, that is how geography plays a role in during the fire spread. And once we have all these feature maps, we'll perform stratified sampling and create. We'll first define a threshold and classify into burnt and unburnt pixels. And we perform stratified sampling, create a balanced data set. And for each sample pixel, we'll save it into a CSV file. This is the phase 3. And coming to the phase 4 is nothing but modeling and prediction, where we load the data sets, define X and Y features, split the data set, and train 3 different machine learning models, evaluate those models based on accuracy. We plot confusion matrix, we plot the feature importances using the random forest model, and finally we generate the burn scar map. So just to give you an idea, this is the pseudo color composition of the pre-fire image by stacking band 457 on RGB channels. So once we acquire these images, how do we know that image is good to go? So right, that's the reason we plot this pseudo color composition. Main purpose is visualization. So here we can see a bright, vibrant green color showing good condition of the forest in the district, while the post-fire image shows a little dull color, clearly indicating that there was an occurrence of fire in the district. Right. Next, now that we have all these images from the data sources, we perform image clipping. So the idea is to use the Nainital district shapefile as a cookie cutter. So this shapefile right here, we'll be using this as a cookie cutter on a top of our big satellite images. So why clipping is needed? Landsat images are of course very huge, cover very large areas. We only need the Nainital district, that is our area of interest. And of course, clipping reduces the file size and improves the speed. So to do this, we'll be just using Python libraries, mainly Rasterio and GeoPandas. We reproject the shapefile to match the satellite coordinates. There is a Rasterio mask function to clip the image. And this mask function basically applies the district boundary polygon over the raster and removes everything outside it, giving us the only smaller study area focused image. Next, once we have the clean clipped image, we perform cloud masking. So for cloud masking, we use a specialized pixel called QA pixel band that the Landsat provides us. Landsat does all the hard work for us. So it's a specialized band which each pixel has its bits that represent cloud and cloud shadow pixels. So we read this QA pixel band, we use a bitwise operation to create a mask of all bad pixels or cloud pixels. So we apply this mask to our data bands for that is 457 and set all these cloud covered pixels to np.nan or not a number. So they are ignored in our further calculations. Right. Next phase would be the feature engineering. Again, the inputs which the machine learning model predicts on. So we calculate the spectral indices, which are simple formulas that are used for highlighting the specific features. The first and foremost is the NDVI, stands for Normalized Difference Vegetation Index. So it's the most common index for measuring the vegetation health. And it works on the principle that healthy plants absorb red light and reflect back the near infrared light. So this is the simple formula, NIR minus red by NIR plus red. Earlier we saw that NIR is nothing but the band 5 while red is band 4. So arithmetic operations of band will give us this feature map. And this the value of this map ranges between -1 to 1, and a high NDVI means healthy plants. So next, coming to NBR is nothing but normalized burn ratio. So this index is specifically designed to detect the burn scars. It's similar to NDVI. The only difference is instead of red light band, we'll be using the shortwave infrared light band. that is the band 7, band 5 subtracted with band 7. To give you an idea, this is how the pre-fire NBR maps looks. This totally tells us the good health of the forest. And the post-fire shows us the burn scars present here in the image. And these are nothing but the successful cloud masked image. The post disaster image had a huge cloud coverage area. Right. Once we calculate these two different features, the next is the DNBR, difference normalized burn ratio. It's the difference between pre-fire NBR map and post-fire map. This is also the ground truth map. In machine learning terms, this is the dependent variable. This is the output. And any higher value in this map, it clearly indicates that there's a clear sign of fire, severe fire in this. So in addition to these features, we also included topographical features, that is how geography plays a role during the fire spread, such as elevation, slope, and aspect. Elevation was derived from the SRTM DEM, a black and white map, and it is nothing but the height of the land above sea level. It influences temperature, moisture, and types of vegetation that grows there, all of which affect the fire risk. Slope is also derived from this elevation map, and it is nothing but the steepness of terrain. Fire spreads much faster uphill as the flames preheat the fuel above them. Steeper slopes means higher risk, and aspect is nothing but the direction the slope faces. So in northern hemisphere, south-facing slopes get more sun, making them more hotter, drier, and their fuel more flammable. All these were plotted using QGIS, open source software, open source geographic information software for capturing, storing, analyzing all types of geographical data. So once we have all these feature maps, what we do is we use the DNBR map as ground truth, and we define our burned and unburned classes. So any value, any threshold value that is greater than 0.1 is considered to be as a burned pixel, and rest were unburned. And we use this threshold because as per the standard USGS guidelines, it's clearly stated that any value greater than 0.1 is considered as burned, a low burnt pixel. Then we create a balanced data set using stratified sampling, 5,000 from burned pixels and 5,000 from unburned. And for each of these sampled pixel, we extract the values, and all these values are stored in a structured CSV format. It includes around 10,000 records and 9 feature columns. So coming to the results, phase 4, that is the modeling, we trained and compared logistic regression, SPM, and random forest classifier, hyperparameter tuning using grid search CV, and five-fold cross validation. The random forest classifier showed us the best performance with an accuracy of 94.88%. Since we are using a balanced data set, accuracy is preferably given more importance here. And we also plot the confusion matrix, actual burnt pixel and predicted burn. Feature importance shows that pre-fire NDVI and NBR were the most important features, and topographical features played a moderate importance. Finally, we generate a burn scar map, which clearly highlights the fire-affected forest regions. This is overlaid on top of an OpenStreetMap layer. To give you a better idea, visualize, I've particularly put a GIF video file. So this is overlaid on top of a Google satellite map. This clearly shows us the burn scar or the fire-affected regions in the district. And this image right here can be used by the forest department or the people living in that district to understand the damage caused by these fires, or how the fire is spread across their district. How can they plan the resources required in that area? And coming to the conclusion, overall, this project demonstrates how remote sensing, GIS, machine learning can be combined into a complete production-ready pipeline for real-world monitoring of forest fires. So the future work could include integrating meteorological data like weather or proximity to human activity. We are also planning to deploy this as a live web application where people living in that district can visit this link through a URL and get an idea of the burnt area of their district. Also, we are planning on time series analysis, taking the same fire, taking another significant fire event at a different time on the same Landsat image. These are some of the future works, and some of the references are mentioned here, which I went through. And thank you. and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yes, thank you, sir, for the wonderful presentation.
Yes.
So you have followed all the research methodology steps and the analysis is available. My
Yes.
question is whether such kind of case studies are already published in some journals, like you have taken one case study.
Right.
Whether, so similar case studies are available, published in research papers?
Similar are available because Nainital is a district that is very prone to forest fires. Many people have studied about this district, the forest fires happening here. But this approach is unique, and no other paper has this kind of approach.
Okay, GIS plus such kind of machine learning models, whether they have used through some other case studies?
Right, sir. There are other case studies as well.
Okay, then which point is unique? Which point is novel in your methodology?
Right, sir. A burn scar map, generating a burn scar map is one unique factor. So it basically helps the forest department could understand the real-time monitoring. For example, if the event has occurred a few weeks back, they could get a real-time idea of the forest fire on their district. So this makes it unique and provides real-time monitoring.
Okay, if the forest fire region is very small, maybe suppose only 1 acre, whether
Right.
your model recognizes it?
Sir, this is the limitation of Landsat satellites. These models are only used for large. These models detect only large forest fire occurrence. So for smaller occurrences, we can shift to Sentinel satellites.
Because as per the government statistics, so
Right.
they have given there are maybe 50,000 different forest fires every
Right.
year in our country.
Yes.
And many times they are not natural, they are man-made. So
Yes.
the farmers or some intruders, they do such kind of forest fires accidents.
Yes.
That for own benefit, and many times the region is small.
Yes.
Okay.
So we could integrate Sentinel-2 data is the future scope of this project as well.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for it.
Thank you, sir. We'll proceed with our next paper presentation. I'd like to call upon Balachandra Reddy with the paper titled Half Mode Substrate Integrated Waveguide Based Textile Antenna for ISM, WLAN, and sub 6 GHz 5G applications. So, if you're ready, then you may start with the presentation.
Okay. Good afternoon, madam. Good afternoon, sir. I am Balchandra Reddy. Today I am going to present my paper titled Half Mode Substrate Integrated Waveguide Based Textile Antenna for ISM, WLAN, and sub 6 GHz 5G applications. So I am Balchandra Reddy I am a research scholar from Savita Institute of Medical and Technical Sciences, Chennai. And the presentation of the paper, I am going to follow the contents or objective, introduction, substrate integrated waveguide, antenna design, results and discussion, conclusion, followed by the reference. Next, coming to the objective. Here, the objective is I invented half mode substrate integrated waveguide based textile antenna for multi-band application. So here, the main aim of the designing this antenna is to reduce the size of the antenna and making it lighter. So the materials used here is a flexible textile with dielectric constant 1.6, and its height is also 1.66 mm, and it is used for operation in 4 resonant frequency ranges, that is 2.25 gigahertz, 2.54 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and 5.82 gigahertz. The 2.25 and 2.54 gigahertz are used to cover the industrial, scientific, and the medical band applications. Here the resonant frequency of this is 2.4 gigahertz. Next, one is 5 gigahertz. It is operated on 5 gigahertz, used to cover the sub 6 gigahertz 5G applications, and 5.82 gigahertz is used to operate in ISM band as well as wireless local area networks, wireless personal area networks applications, and also in the wireless body area network applications. Next one is introduction, actually. So these variable actually these antenna nowadays the variable antennas they are gaining much importance in the technologies like security, military related security applications, and for healthcare monitoring. So here the main advantage is in medical monitoring or medical applications for continuous monitoring of the parameters, and also for the uninterrupted communication, actually. See, it also has the advantage of applications in academic and industrial applications, such as wireless body area network systems, and its main applications are in healthcare, sports, security, and in military sectors. Next one is, see, coming to the substrate integrated waveguide. The substrate integrated waveguide means it is a waveguide like structure fabricated between two surfaces, like ground planes of dielectric substrate, with two parallel rows of wires, that is metal wires or holes etched between these two layers, actually. So actually it is a type of substrate integrated circuit and is designed for high frequency applications such as millimeter waves and microwave frequencies. The microwave frequencies, which range from 0 to 30 gigahertz, and millimeter wave frequencies, they range from 30 to 300 gigahertz frequencies. So here in the diagram, we are showing how to convert a normal waveguide into a substrate integrated waveguide, actually. See, in the figure A, actually a normal waveguide with air field is shown in figure A. In figure B, actually it is filled with a dielectric material. And this dielectric field waveguide is converted to SIW, that is substrate integrated waveguide. See, as shown in figure C, it is actually we etched two rows of the metal wires, which will connect the upper and bottom planes of this ground plane dielectric substrates. See, actually, first we start with considering a normal waveguide. Normal waveguide with that is simple rectangular waveguide with width A and height B. See, the next one is the cutoff frequency of this waveguide is for this normal waveguide is represented in equation 1. That is Fc is equal to T by 2 pi square root of M pi by A whole square plus N pi by B whole square. Actually, the SIW is in the dominant mode of TE10. So M is 1, actually N is H0. So from this we find width A is equal to C by 2 into Fc. But here after this is for that is equation 2. After filling this with a dielectric material, this A is converted to AR, that is represented in equation C. That is using AR is equal to C by 2 into Fc into square root of epsilon r. But for the standard SIW, that is substrate integrated waveguides, so this is converted to ASIW is equal to AR plus D square divided by 0.95 multiplied by S. That is in equation 4. But here, see the width of this. See here, D is the diameter of the wire, and S is the spacing between the wires. But in this one, see but we have not considered the width of the wire, so it leads to the error. So we modified the equation 4.
Excuse me, sir. I'm really sorry to
Hello?
disturb you, but I'd like to remind you of the time limit.
Okay, madam. So it is converted to WS equal to WR plus 1.08 multiplied D square by S minus 0.1 multiplied by D square by WS. But to reduce the losses, actually, see, we need to maintain the diameter D and space S between these two particular values determined using as represented in equation 6. The next one is how to convert this SIW antenna into HMSIW, that is half mode substrate integrated waveguide. See, in figure A, actually we have shown the SIW. But to convert this into half mode, see, as shown in B, it is cut into, that is two halves. See, either vertically or horizontally. That is, then it becomes half mode substrated integrated waveguide. So here, as shown in the figure B, the main aim is to reduce the size of this antenna. So next one is followed by the design of the antenna. Here we have shown two antennas. The first one with microstrip feed, and we have an octagonal slot that is represented with at the rate 1. And in the next one, so that is we have introduced a rectangular slot additional slot. So this is there is a slight variation, and see, with this we achieved the desired resonant frequency, that way which we are going to show in the next is coming up screen. So this is the bottom view of the antenna actually. So the parametrics and the design used in this design are shown here, and they are defined in the table actually. See, here in the right side, all the dimensions which we used for the antenna. So next one is see the results and discussion. Here, if you see that here we have two design size. This is at the with at the rate 1 and the at the rate 2, where we introduced a rectangular cavity over the top of this octagonal slot. So with this, see, the achieved results are for S11 results. There are two graphs we are showing here. See the graph with orange color. See after 5, see the with almost all it is at 5.2. But after introducing a resonant cavity, this is adjusted, reduced to actually exact value, that is resonant frequency 5. Here we are achieving the this one also. See, this is actually after 5.5. The brown graph shows that the resonant frequency is at 5.9. After introducing this rectangular slot or the orthogonal slot, as in at the rate 2 antenna, this is reduced to 5.8 actually. This is the actually required value. So the next one is, see here, we are showing the reflection coefficient and also the VSW or voltage standing wave ratio observations in these two graphs. So actually see, in this one we achieved this 2.25. The first one, reflection coefficient. See, if you observe this blue color graph here, we achieved the frequencies, resonant frequencies as 2.25. After that, we have 2.54 gigahertz frequency for the which is used for ISM and WLAN applications. After that, we achieved the 5 gigahertz, which is and the sub 6 gigahertz for 5G applications. So also see, finally see, after 5.5 we have a resonant frequency 5.8 gigahertz used for WLAN and W-band applications. Along with it, we have also defined here, observed here the extracted values S11 parameters. But at 2.5 it is minus 25.2 dB, and the VSWR is 1.12. For 2.54 gigahertz, it is minus 20.5 dB, and VSWR is 1.236. And for 5 gigahertz frequencies, S11 is minus 29 dB with VSWR 1.095. And at 5.8 gigahertz, we obtained S11 as minus 11 dB with VSWR 1.73 actually. So here in this screen, we are showing the surface current actually. See here in the surface current also, we have 5 resonant frequencies, 2.2, and the other one is at 2.52, 5 gigahertz and 5.8 gigahertz. Here, see in the first figure, there is a red line at the bottom. So this indicates the microstrip feed. At the feeding, the surface current density is very more. After that, see if you use a see this octagonal slot. Here, see it is represented in a red line. Means here that the radiation is good. Actually, see the surface currents are more here. Similarly, at 2.52 also we achieved the same results. And 5 gigahertz also we have attained these values which shown in the red color, and for 5 point also it is represented with this red color. So it means that we are able to operate this and it confirms the design of for multi-band operation, that is a 2.2, 2.5 to 5 and 5 gigahertz resonant frequencies and all. In the next one, see we are showing the 3D gain patterns. In this one, for these different in figure A, see for 2.2 gigahertz, we have shown the direction, the radiation pattern, actual 3D radiation pattern. So the red color indicates the direction of the propagation, that is the theta. Similarly, it is shown for 2.54 gigahertz and for 5 gigahertz and 5.8 gigahertz. See, at 2.25 gigahertz, it is 4.91 dB, and at 2.54 gigahertz, it is 6.41 dB, and at 5 gigahertz, it is 6.69 dBi, and at 5.8 gigahertz, it is actually 6.46 dBi. So, next one is the conclusion. Here, we have introduced a compact, means low size, half mode substrate integrated waveguide based textile antenna, which is suitable for the multi-band applications such as industrial, scientific, and medical applications, wireless local area networks, and sub 6 gigahertz 5G applications, and wideband area networks. So it is also showing good impedance matching and gain. So next one is, here we have shown some of the references actually. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Thank you, sir, for the
Hello.
presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. Sir, you have proposed a methodology. So, other than the proposed methodology, what are the different alternative methods are mentioned in the literature?
So, some other designs are there, sir, for wideband, ultra wideband, and all. But here the main aim is to reduce the size and making it very light when compared to others.
Okay, so whether you compared your results with the other designs?
Yes, sir. We compared and we achieved these values, better values.
Okay.
Actually, yes, sir.
Please go ahead, sir.
See, the graphs are showing the actual values, sir. Actually, we achieved better values.
So, any limitation of your proposed design?
Sir?
Any limitation of your proposed work? Whether you have identified any limitation of your current proposed work?
Not yet, sir. I'm not able to actually, I'm not able to answer to your question.
Whether any limitation is there, any drawback of your current design?
No, I don't know, sir. Actually, answer to your question.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much for your valuable question, sir. I will come up with very good updated things for the next conference, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for a very valuable question. Any suggestions, sir?
No suggestions, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We'll be proceeding with our next paper presenter. I'd like to call upon Priyank S. Hadakar with the paper title Rainfall Prediction Using Satellite Cloud Images. Ma'am, if you're ready, then you may start your presentation.
Yes, ma'am. Can I share my PPT?
Yes, ma'am, you can share your PPT. Please go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Priyanka Hadkar from the KLE Technological University, Belgavi, Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Today, I am going to present our project Rainfall Prediction using Satellite Cloud Images with Machine Learning and Deep Learning. This work focuses on predicting rainfall using satellite cloud images by applying modern deep learning techniques. Rainfall prediction is very important for agriculture, transportation, and disaster management. Our aim is to build a system that can give faster and more accurate short-term rainfall prediction. First, I will briefly explain the idea of our work. Traditional work forecasting methods are slow and less accurate for short-term rainfall prediction because cloud patterns change very quickly. So in our project, we use satellite cloud images as input data. We pre-process the image using normalization and segmentation to highlight cloud regions. Then we train multiple models like CNN, LSTM, random forest. Among these models, CNN, LSTM, and random forest perform the best because CNN captures special features like cloud shape and texture. LSTM captures temporal features, meaning how clouds move over time. Our result shows that deep learning significantly improves the accuracy and reliability of rainfall prediction. Now, coming to the introduction. Rainfall forecasting plays a very important role in agriculture, flood and disaster management, transportation, water resource planning. However, traditional weather prediction system often fail in short-term forecasting because weather conditions change very rapidly. Satellite cloud images contain rich information such as cloud shape, cloud temperature, cloud movement. So these images are very suitable for deep learning models, and we build a rainfall prediction system using sequence of satellite images. We combine spatial pattern learning using CNN and temporal pattern using LSTM. This improves short-term rainfall prediction compared to traditional methods. And now, literature survey. Previous studies on rainfall prediction mostly used cloud, cloud top temperature and multispectral satellite features, but these methods often fail to reflect actual surface rainfall. Traditional techniques like optical flow persistent methods also perform poorly when cloud changes rapidly. And recent research shows that CNNs are very good at extracting spatial features from images. Random forest works well with engineered features. Hybrid deep learning models perform better by combining spatial features, temporal features. Another major challenges found in previous work in data imbalance, where rainy images are much fewer than non-rainy images. Based on these findings, we focused on deep learning models combining CNN and LSTM and building a hybrid rainfall prediction system. And objectives. The main objectives of our projects are to collect satellite cloud images, data for rainfall analysis, to pre-process image for better model performance, to extract cloud features using CNN, and to train machine learning and deep learning models, and evaluate and compare the model accuracies, and to visualize results clearly, and to develop a reliable rainfall prediction system. And now, proposed methodology. We have worked on different steps for our project, and first step is data collection. In that, we collect satellite cloud images and rainfall labels. And second step is image preprocessing. In that, we image resizing and normalization and segmentation to highlight cloud regions. And third step is feature extraction. CNN extracts spatial features like cloud texture and shape. And fourth step is model training. We train three main models. First one is CNN and CNN LSTM, and third one is random forest. And fifth step is model evaluation. In that, we have done finding accuracy, prediction probability, and rainfall amount. And sixth step is final prediction. The trained model predicts whether rainfall will occur or not, and the how much rainfall amount and confidence probability. And we selected random forest, and random forest is an ansible learning technique. The dataset is randomly sampled using bootstrapping, and each sample trains an independent decision tree. Each tree gives its own prediction, and the final output is obtained by majority voting for classification and averaging for regression. This method improves accuracy and reduces overfitting and works well with structured features. And next one is CNN model. And CNN is specially designed for image-based data. It contains convolution layers. It this layer extracts spatial features like cloud shape and texture. And second one is ReLU activation. It introduces non-linearity. And third one is max pooling layer. It reduces image shape and computation. And fourth one is flatten layer. It converts feature maps into 1D vector. And last one is fully connected layer. It performs final prediction. CNN automatically learns important features from satellite images without manual feature engineering. And next is result. And this image shows the final output of our rainfall prediction system. Based on the satellite cloud image, the model predicts the rainfall occurrence, and the predict rainfall amount is 46.8 mm, which indicates moderate to heavy rainfall. The prediction probability is 0.936, and which shows a very high confidence level. The model uses bright and dense cloud formations as key indicators to infer rainfall. This result proves that our approach can accurately predict rainfall using satellite images. And then conclusion. Finally, I conclude my project presentation. In this study, we developed a deep learning based rainfall prediction system. CNN and CNN LSTM models successfully captured cloud structures, cloud movement. This improved prediction accuracy, and machine learning models like random forest performed well with engineered features, and hybrid deep learning models like CNN and CNN LSTM models showed great potential for future large-scale dataset. Our system proves that image-based deep learning and can support faster and more accurate rainfall forecasting. This is very useful for agriculture, flood management, and environmental monitoring. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to present our work, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, madam. Can you show me the results comparison of the proposed three models? So how much accuracy you have obtained? CNN, LSTM, and random forest. Can you show the accuracies?
Sir, I got accuracy as 98% for CNN.
Where it is mentioned, madam?
And 90. No, sir, here not.
So you have not mentioned the accuracies in their presentation. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what about data set? What is the size of data set, madam?
Sir, we have actually 2,976 images, which in which 80% we have included for training and 20% we have included for testing. And our dataset also includes some labels. Means each image has its own label, such as label tells us when and where the image is captured. It tells the information of the each image.
Whether you're solving a supervised problem or unsupervised problem.
We are solving supervised problems.
So what are the different labels are available for your images?
So I'm not getting your question. You can repeat.
So you want to predict the values, right?
Yes, sir.
Based on the images. So based on the images, you want to predict the rainfall, right?
Yes, sir.
And this is a supervised learning problem. So for
Yes.
the different images, so along with the images, what the label values are available?
So it's a 0 and 1. If it's 0, then there is no rainfall, and if it's 1, there is a rainfall.
So this is a simple binary classification problem. Then if it is a binary classification problem, then why hybrid deep learning algorithms are required, like CNN plus LSTM? Why it is required?
So it also shows rainfall amount, that such as regression label. Example, it gives 10 mm, 25 mm. What amount the rainfall is?
How you calculate the rainfall amount?
So rainfall intensity is calculated based on light of image light, that brightness and density of the images, whether the cloud formation is more dense or less dense.
So again, I am asking the same question. So this is supervised learning. So you have said the
Yes, sir.
labels are only rain is present or absent. So what are the other labels available, like rainfall values, whether they are available?
No, sir. Only 0 and 1 we have included. Means if 0 means it's no rain,
If
and 1
you,
means it's rain.
so if only image is available and if 0 and 1 values are available, then how you are predicting the rainfall values?
So apart from numerical range or offset labels, we can define multiple types of labels depending on problem requirement, such
What
as
you have
numerical
defined?
labels.
How you define? I'm asking the same thing. How you define during your investigation?
Sir, we define them in millimeters.
How you define? So from where you get these details? So this is the image and this is the rainfall value. From where you receive the data set?
Sir, we have received the dataset from Kaggle.
Kaggle.
Yes.
So whether you have done any hyperparameter tuning for CNN, random forest, and the CNN plus
No,
LSTM
no,
model?
no, sir.
No. So random forest is giving the highest accuracy.
Yes, sir.
So random forest is a machine learning algorithm, and it is giving
Yes,
highest
sir.
accuracy. Then why you are going for deep learning algorithm like CNN and CNN LSTM?
So we have just tested those models on our project. If we get the highest accuracy for those models or not.
If a machine learning algorithm, random forest, is giving a 98% accuracy, then what is the reason why you are going for deep learning algorithms like CNN and LSTM? If only machine learning is sufficient, why to go for deep learning?
Sir, we want to know that especially CNN extracts more special features, means cloud shape and all. So we were predicting more accuracy. Means here we were in a random forest, we got 97% accuracy. We were expecting more like 98 and all accuracy from
Without
CNN, but unfortunately,
without any feature extraction from the image, random forest is given 97, and with feature extraction and plus temporal features, the deep learning is giving less accuracy. Can you compare these two situations? What is exactly happening?
sir, actually CNN also given the best performance when we compared both. Then we continued with the random forest, sir.
Okay, so my suggestion is when the problem is identified, so don't
Yes.
select the algorithms randomly. So go through the
Yes.
literature and then select the algorithms accordingly. So why random
Okay, sir.
forest? Why CNN? Why hybridization? Why not support vector machine? So by
Yes,
going
sir.
through the literature, you have to identify the algorithms and then select accordingly. So we cannot compare
Okay,
randomly 3 4 algorithms just to show the comparison. Okay,
okay, sir.
thank you very much.
Thank you for your suggestion, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We'll be proceeding on with the next paper presenter. I'd like to call upon paper presenter Urmila Natharanjan with the paper titled Readiness for Blockchain Adoption in Healthcare Organizations. Ma'am, if you're ready, then you may start with the presentation.
Yeah, thank you. So, is my screen visible?
Not yet, ma'am. You haven't started screen sharing yet.
Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everybody. I hope my voice is audible. Myself, Urmila Natarajan. I'm here to present the paper titled Readiness for Blockchain Adoption in Healthcare Organization. Straight away moving on to the brief introduction and also to discuss about the primary objective of this particular study. Basically, to start with the blockchain, which is an immutable digital ledger that securely records transaction in a linked form of blocks across many computers. Such as nodes in a network, making it decentralized and a tamper-proof, providing a temporary and a trust without a central authority. So moving on to this particular study on healthcare organization with the blockchain adoption, a healthcare organization is generally increasing this exploring area towards blockchain technology to address persistent challenges related to data security, interoperability, transparency, and trust. India, particularly on the Indian context, Indian healthcare system, which is characterized by the large population coverage with the fragmented services delivery with diverse of stakeholders and significant validation in digital maturity across the public and private healthcare organizations, where the government also initiating a lot of digital transformation initiatives like the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission and the creation of digital health ID and making the interoperable health records throughout the country and have the accelerated digital transformations. These also comes related with the challenges to data interoperability, trust and security, and also with the governance persist. So one of the primary reason for this particular gap is the lack of organization readiness. Blockchain adoption requires more than the technical capability. It demands leadership commitment, organizational trust, and the regulatory alignment to implement this technology, and also the government's governance structure, and also the stakeholders' acceptance. So without adequate readiness across these dimensions, blockchain initiatives risk implementation failure and or to a limited impact. So understanding this readiness for blockchain adoption is therefore critical for healthcare organizations seeking to leverage blockchain benefit while managing risk associated with privacy, security, and regulatory compliances. So this study focuses on identifying and structuring the key readiness factors that influence blockchain adoption in healthcare organizations, providing a systematic framework model to support informed decision making and successful implementation. So this particular study objective, which aims to identify and understand the factors influencing the blockchain adoption, and also analyzing the interrelationship among factors using total interpretive structure modeling technique, and also to classify and rank the factors based on their dependence and driving power using micmac analysis. Through this study, we identify totally 10 readiness factors, which supports for the final decision making for the healthcare authorities. Moving on to the methodology of this particular study, we used TASM, Total Interpretive Structure Modeling and Micmac Analysis. TASM is just widely used in service sector, being healthcare as a primary source of industry for this particular study. We found out this will be more applicable to use that methodology. So to start with this methodology, these are all the steps that we have followed to come to a final framework model by starting with identifying the list of readiness factors of blockchain adoption in healthcare organization through the literature review and also through the expert opinions. Here, the expert opinion in terms of the experts from the healthcare side, and identifying the major readiness factors of blockchain adoption in healthcare organizations, and also the defining the factors particularly in context to that readiness of blockchain adoption, and preparing the questionnaires with a pairwise comparison of factors, and developing the initial reachability matrix, followed by developing the final reachability matrix with respondents to the interview with the respondent, which is the healthcare experts, and partitioning the final reachability matrix, and finally developing the final reachability matrix by transitioning the direct and significant transition links, and finally creating the diagram of TASM model, which represent the interrelationship and hierarchical model of the blockchain adoptions. So moving on to the TASM model for readiness factors for blockchain adoption in healthcare organization, if you see that we have categorized from level 1 to level 6. The model explains how different readiness factors interacts hierarchically to enable successful blockchain adoption in healthcare. So the level 6, which is the foundational leadership readiness, which is the top management support, which act as a primary driver of blockchain adoption, which ensure the vision, resource allocations, and policy directions. Because without leadership commitment, adoptions effort fail to sustain. So this is the starting point of the readiness. And moving on to the level 5, which is the organizational capability readiness, which includes the trust and reliability and stability in management. The trust and reliability, the confidence in blockchain system for the clinical and administrative use, and the stability in management is a consistent leadership and decision making during the digital transformation process. So the leadership support directly influence the trust and managerial stability here. And moving on to the level 4, which is the governance and data readiness, which comes the transparency and data ownership, the clear visibility of transition, audit, and patient data access. And through the data ownership, a defined control over patient data or consents and sharing rights. So these factors establish the ethical, legal, and governance readiness, which is critical in healthcare organizations. And moving on to the level 3, which is the core blockchain technology readiness, which is immutability and decentralized data, which ensure the tamper-proof, as I mentioned earlier, tamper-proof medical records and audit trails. And the decentralized data, which eliminates single point of failure and enhance the interoperability. These are all the technical readiness pillars of blockchain systems. And moving on to the level 2, which is the regulatory and risk readiness, which has regulatory support and security and privacy as a factors. The alignment with regulations of the government governance and the legal implications apply to this, or the laws which are compiled with the healthcare organizations, and protection of sensitive patient information and access control, which the regulatory approval and security assurance are essential before any technological deployments. And finally, the outcome readiness, which is the level 1, which is the reduced cost and process, which also improve the efficiency of the organization, and also the reduce the administrative burden, which also lower the operational cost through automation and trustless data sharing, which represent the ultimate benefit of a blockchain adoption. So moving on to the MICMAC rank to the readiness of blockchain adoption, which identify the key driving and dependent factors, which classify the factors based on driving power and dependence, and prioritize the factors influencing the blockchain adoption readiness. So the understanding the table with the driving power, which is the ability of a factor to influence the other factor, and dependence is the extent to which a factor is influenced by others. Driving and dependence ratio shows the dominance of influence, and MICMAC rank finally priority level of the factor in the adoption process. The key result, which has the ranking 1, which is the key driving factor, which is the factor 1 as top management support, which is the highest driving power and lowest independence, which act as a primary enabler of blockchain adoptions, which influence trust, governance, technology, and regulatory alignment. Without leadership support, any adoptions cannot progress in an organization. So the ranking 2 is the strong drivers, which is trust and reliability, stability and management, which has high driving power and low independence, which shapes the organization confidence and also the continuity or more of like sustainability in the technological usage, and enables the governance, data management, and also the technological readiness. So these factors translate leadership vision into the capability of the organizations. So the rank 3, which is the linkage factor, the transparency and data ownership factors comes under this linkage factors, which has a balanced driving and dependence power, which also act as a bridge between organizational and technological layers, which is also highly interactive because any changes to this will affect the multiple factors critical for ethical data use and also stakeholder trust in healthcare. So the ranking 4, which comes the technological enablers, which is the immutability and decentralized data, which has moderate driving power but high independence, rely more on governance, regulatory readiness, and leadership, which also enable to ensure tamper-proof health data system. Whereas we can conclude that technology alone cannot drive adoption without organizational readiness. So the ranking 5, which is the dependent regulatory factors, where the regulatory support and the security and privacy factors come.
I'm really sorry to interrupt you, but I'd like to remind you of the time limit.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sure, thank you. Which has high dependence and low driving power, which are strongly influenced by leadership, governance, and technology technology decision essential for compliance, but not the initial drivers. And also finally, the ranking 6, which is the outcome factor, which is a reduced process and cost, which has a lower driving power and higher dependence, represent the final outcome of blockchain adoption, achieved only when all other factors are aligned together. Efficiency and reductions are the results and not the starting point of this. So moving on to the MICMAC graph, followed by the MICMAC ranking, there are 4 zones, which is zone 1, 2, 3, and 4. Zone 1 is the autonomous factor. No major factor has been located in zone 1. The absence of autonomous factors indicate that all identified variables are systematically relevant and meaningfully connected. So the zone 2 is the dependent factor, which has a low driving and high dependence. There are three factors, which is under zone 2, dependent, reduced process cost, regulatory support, and security and privacy. These factors are having low driving power, indicating that there are outcomes or consequences of other readiness factors rather than initial drivers. And then the third zone, which is the linkage factor, which is immutability and decentralized data. The linkage factors are both highly influential and highly sensitive. Any changes in these factors strongly affect others and is simultaneously affected by them. In this model, immutability and decentralization form of technological core of blockchain system, and their effectiveness depends on governance, leadership, and regulatory alignment. And zone 4, which is independent driving factor, which has high driving and low dependence. Totally 5 factors comes under this, which is top management support, trust, reliability, stability, transparency, and data ownership. These factors exhibit strong driving power with minimal dependence, making them the primary enablers of blockchain adoptions. The top management support is the most dominant driver, anchoring all other factors, and trust, stability, transparency, and data ownership established organizational and governance readiness. This confirms that the blockchain adoption in healthcare is more of organization driven rather than the technological driven. Moving on to the conclusion of this study, which is systematically examined the blockchain adoption readiness in healthcare organization using the integrated total interpretive structure modeling with the MICMAC approach. The findings demonstrate that blockchain adoption is a multi-level interdependent process rather than purely a technical decision. So MICMAC analysis also clearly establishes the top management support as the most dominant driving factor, confirming that leadership commitment is a fundamental prerequisite for blockchain adoption. And the strong organizational drivers such as trust, stability, further translate strategic intent into sustained organization readiness. And the governance related factors, particularly the transparency and data ownership, act as a critical enablers that also bridge as a organizational readiness with technological implementation. So these technological characteristics of blockchains like immutability, decentralized data emerge as a linkage factors, which indicating while they are central to blockchain functionality, their successful implementation depends heavily on organizational regulatory preparedness, in contrast to the security and privacy and also this reduced process cost, which are identified as the highly dependent power, highlighting that compliance assurance and efficiency gains are outcomes of readiness rather than initiating the process. Overall, this integrated TASM and MICMAC results confirm that blockchain adoption in healthcare organization is leadership driven, organizational enabled, and outcome oriented. This particular research paper contributes theoretically by validating a hierarchical readiness structure for blockchain adoption and offers us a practical guidance for healthcare decision makers by emphasizing the need to prioritize leadership commitment and organizational readiness before investing in advanced blockchain technologies. One of the limitations and future works would be this particular study focused on the particular regions of healthcare. So the future studies could be focused more of a wider approach in different regions and throughout the country, and also using the wider data sets with the different methodologies. Thank you. Thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you, madam, for the presentation.
Thank you, sir.
You have taken feedback from how many users, madam?
Totally, the respondents or 30 respondents from healthcare industry, more of the specialized experts who are in the positions to have a decision making in the administration.
Okay, there are a few comments. First is
Yeah.
the 30 count is less, and
Okay.
all the respondents are from the leadership role. So
Yeah.
many replies are or the comments are only from that aspect, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right, policy and regulatory support.
Okay.
And the missing part here is the end user who is actually using the block technology is missing.
Okay.
Second part is as this blockchain technology is useful, but it is available in the back end. So in the front end, only the ERP kind of application is visible to the end user. So
Yeah.
there is no question of any technical skill required from the end user, specifically blockchain. So this
Okay.
was not the case with previous other technologies like open source technology or e-commerce technology, where some skill set is required. So
Okay,
attitude,
sir.
trust, willingness, these kind of acceptance and cultural factors are not considered in your study. And
Okay.
also technical skill required is not again, we cannot consider this. So
Okay.
the important factors in technology adoption, like so you have covered leadership and visionary factors,
Yeah.
but training and skill set development, technical skill
Okay.
set, user acceptance, and the cultural aspects,
Yeah.
these are missing because the technology blockchain is different than the previous technologies like e-commerce, e-banking, mobile banking, or maybe ERP kind of system.
Yeah.
So there is a scope to think in a different way how we
Sure, sir.
can think a model for the technology adoption and the roadmap also. There is another scope is we can prepare a roadmap also.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your valuable inputs, sir. Surely will take up in the further studies. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
sir. Thank you, ma'am. We'll be proceeding
Thank you.
with our next paper presenter. I'd like to call upon Alok PV with the paper titled Rumor Spread Minimization in Social Networks Using Reinforcement Learning and Spread Graphs. So, if you're ready, then you may start with your presentation.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Sure, thank you for the confirmation. Mm, yep, I hope the screen is visible too.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Good, okay. So, good evening, respected panel and everyone present. I'm Alok, and today I'll be presenting our research work titled Rumor Spread Minimization in Social Network Using Reinforcement Learning and Split Graphs. This works I mean, let's say the work that we did actually focus on controlling misinformation spread in dynamic social networks. It is mostly focused on the dynamics of the networks because most of the existing system does not actually have a proper solution that works for a dynamic environment. So the social networks are very highly dynamic, and the misinformation that spreads over this network rapid goes very fast, and the user interactions such as sharing and comments, all of those things are the medium through which these misinformations are spread. The sad thing about the existing system is that the misinformation which are not verified can spread very fast across the given networks. Most of the existing approaches either rely on static network structures or manual interventions, which makes them ineffective in real world scenarios. So the motivation for us to make this project is that we had to come up with an adaptive, scalable, and capable of operating in a real world large network kind of solution. The limitations of the existing systems are that the existing rumor mitigation methods face multiple limitations, and three major limitations of those are that they mainly rely on the static methods, and the another one is the size of the network. Any network that goes beyond 1000 nodes have a very big disadvantage in the existing systems, and also the real-time adaptive blocking strategies that exist in the current solutions are not very satisfactory. So that's where we found the research gap. So there is no existing solution which is both adaptive to dynamics of a actual network, social network, and which is scalable in a real life scenario. So thus we proposed RLDBSG, which stands for um, reinforcement learning based dynamic blocking using splitted graphs. So our approach integrates a deep Q learning network, and by optimizing the blocking strategies with a graph splitting technique that enables scalability. So we are not only using reinforcement learning, but we are also splitting the graph, and this hybrid design effectively reduces or suppresses the rumor spread within a dynamic network. That's the base idea of the project, and this is the framework. As you can see, the reinforcement learning agent observes the current network state, including infected nodes. Infected nodes are the nodes where the rumor has already been spread, and based on this state, the agent decides which node should be blocked and how to minimize this in the minimize it so that the spread is minimized in the future. The learning happens continuously along the system to adapt to change rumor patterns. Um, yeah, this is the same thing but in a more structured way. Yeah, so the algorithm and methodology behind the thing that I just told, RLTP-SG, is that it includes two blocking strategies mainly. One is community-based blocking and another is dynamic blocking. So coming to community-based blocking, which is suitable for large graphs and focus on influential communities, while dynamic blocking works on the entire graph and is effective for smaller networks. So given a big graph, we first split the graph into smaller parts and apply the dynamic blocking, which enables the whole thing to happen efficiently. The reinforcement learning agent selects nodes dynamically based on the reward feedback. All those are handled by the deep Q learning network that we made. Again, coming back to the Q learning network that we just talked about, it consists of four main components: state, action, reward, and an experience replay, which is like every other DQN. And yeah, coming to the splitted graph or split graph scaling part, this approach partitions large networks into smaller subgraphs, enabling faster reinforcement learning training. It also allows parallel processing and significantly improves scalability while preserving global behavior. That's pretty much about the split graph scaling, and when it's combined with the DQN, it works like a magic. Now, the experimental setup that we did for this project is based on these datasets: Facebook, Quora, email, and Karate. And the metrics that we used was IR, PT, precision. These are like standard metrics, but IR is infection rate. And infection rate is something like what is the rate of at which the misinformation is spread. Infection here stands for the amount of misinformation spread. So the minimum the infection rate is, the better the model is. And the tools that we used are Python, NetworkX, PyTorch, and Matplotlib. And we also have compared this with other techniques like um, which you can see in the graph. So the yellow line stands for the model that we made, and the remaining are the other stuff. So with the graph, we can realize that our model performs better than the other techniques, which are existing methods in the graphs, in the data sets that we took. So the x-axis here stands for the number of nodes that are blocked, and y-axis stands for the infection rate. So as I told, the minimum infection rate means the better the model is. This is a graph which shows the training loss that happened over 1000 episodes for the DQN network that we made. So over time, the loss is reducing, which means the efficiency is increasing. It started with around 800 as the loss and gradually reduced. Yeah, so Okay, so now we also talked about the splitted graph method, right? So the same thing can be done without the splitted graph. As in, let's say we have 1,000 nodes and we are applying the RLDB approach directly to the graph without splitting it. So what happens was, what we observed was the difference that you can see in the graph. So the red bar is without splitting, while the blue bar is by splitting. As you can see, the infection rate have a significant less number when the graph is splitted, which means given a big graph, when we split it into small parts and apply the dynamic algorithm that we made, it reduces the infection rate by a huge percentage. When I say the percentage, it's 20% lower infection rate versus baseline. So here in the graph, we took around 250 to 300 nodes as a single partition within a graph. So if we have 1,000 nodes, it will be converted into 250 of 4 parts, and then each part will be applied with the algorithm, and thus we have a very lower infection rate. Yeah, so to conclude this, the method that we came up with, which we call RLDBSG, is a very adaptive and scalable scalable approach, and it outperforms PRBC random algorithm and RLDB. PR stands for page ranking algorithm, which is an already existing algorithm, and BC is between centrality algorithm. Random is again, it's just as the name suggests, it randomly blocks some nodes and checks it. That's an existing algorithm. And RLDB is the same thing without splitting the graph. So yeah, and coming to the thing that we were not able to implement in this current situation is the semantic features and the scaling. So our current network, current model covers a network which has around 3,000 nodes easily. When it goes beyond that, it starts to not perform very good. So we need to improve a little bit more on the SG part where we can handle more nodes. But the current work that we did is actually outperforming all the existing things. But we don't consider that to be enough. We want it to work for even higher amount of nodes. Coming to the semantic part is nothing but here we are assuming that a message or a piece of information is actually a misinformation. So we haven't implemented any natural language algorithm which will decide whether a message is misinformation or not. That's for the future work, and that's all for the presentation. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Can you go to your conclusion slide?
Yeah, sure.
So you are saying your approach is adaptive and scalable.
Yeah.
Can you justify it? Why you are saying this is adaptive and scalable? Which
So
experimentation you have done to show this is adaptive and scalable?
So one thing that affects the models or the current thing is the network is not stable. It changes over time. So there is a temporal influence in the network. So the model that we came up with, which is RLDB, my bad. Yeah, this has this DQN network, which which also have the ability to understand the difference within a given, how do I say this? In a particular time frame, if the network is changing, it has the ability to adapt to itself and predict the new possible result. But
Okay, and what
if
about
it's a
scalable? What about scalable?
scale, yeah. So when I say scalability, the model pretty much predicts very fast when compared to the other algorithms, which is static. Since as in, if you just check for one input and output, the static algorithm is fast. But then if the network is keep on changing, we'll have to input all the changed networks into the each static algorithms as instances. That makes it slow. But since
But
this is
you have not
considering,
shown, but you have not shown any graph or table comparing how this is scalable for scalable system. Your proposed method works.
Well, this graph shows how efficiently it reduces the infection rate. So even if we increase the amount of inputs that's given, this ratio will remain the same.
But whether it
So
means that this is scalable,
sorry,
whether this graph is sufficient to say that your algorithm is scalable.
it is actually, yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am Netravati, if you're ready, then you may start with your presentation. It seems there is some network issue or she's not available. That brings us to the closing. Thank you, everyone. I sincerely thank our authors for their excellent presentations and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on behalf of the whole team, thank you for your support during this 10th version and all the previous 9 versions of the conference. We will be happy to have you in the 11th version in 2027. All the presenters will be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days. The publication will be live within 7 to 8 months. Kindly cooperate with the team of SmartCon 2026. I'd also like to thank our session chair for chairing the session. A token to the chair on behalf of Team SmartCom 2026 and Global Knowledge Research Foundation. Thank you for your valuable presence, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you,
Thank you very
sir.
much.
Just before we end the session, I'd like to request everyone to turn on their cameras for a quick snapshot of the virtual conference. Thank you, everyone.